Hello my friends and all lovers of electrical bikes and all types of two-wheelers. In this video I will tell you about my Surron and all modifications I did. Grab your tea or coffee and sit comfortably. I bought my Surron in 2019. Its price was only $3,500 and I was amazed at how accurately its creators hit the target. A small but very exciting bike that does not require a garage as can be stored directly in your room. Pretty soon I realized that for my 183 centimeters it is still small. Looking at how people tune their Surrons, I realized that all these expensive forks and brakes are not at all what I need. I want to make it little bigger, to fit my head. In this way Shiva Racing project was born. The first trips with XL kit caused euphoria. The bike has become longer, more stable, sitting and standing on it has become much more comfortable. Now you see my friends on his Surron with orange KTM fenders. My friend, whose height is 1.87 meters, having ridden my Surron XL and ordered such kit for himself, and I realized that many people need it. Therefore we began to sell our kit and you can order it in Surron shop using the link in the description. What gives our XL kit? Your Surron or Segway will be 85mm longer, the saddle will be 50mm higher and moving back to 50mm, and the foot peg will move back as well. The kit gives two options for mounting the rear shock. You can raise your rear end of the bike by 15mm or leave it standard clearance. You can use a primary belt drive or go with chain like I did. The longer belt you will get with the kit. The chain is more reliable, but the sound is very loud. Not everyone likes it. And here I will give you a video comparison. You see me with my 183 centimeters on a Surron with our kit and before the alteration. I think it's very clear. The next tuning was the battery. Once I got used to the Surron's power and boldly opening the gas, I could barely reach 30 kilometers on a single charge. In eco mode, even with my 90 kilo weight, it was quite possible to drive 45 kilometers, but it was boring. So I installed a 60 volt 52 ampere hours EMAX battery. At first I could not discharge it to the end, but gradually I began to live farther and farther from home and easily drove up to 70 kilometers on the stock controller. Next it's time for controller. I like the technical support from Surron shop. On the EMAX battery I received answer to all questions and remote assistance in setting up. Therefore I decided to buy their Sintech controller. The controller is completely self-configuring on computer or smartphone. It is very comfortable. At the time I purchased, such functionality was only for nuclear controller, but Sintech was in stock and people were waiting for nuclear controller for 6 months or more, so I started riding with Sintech. I added 1 kilowatt, then 2 kilowatts, then 3 kilowatts, even a couple of extra kilowatts immediately revives the bike. However, the range begins to fall. For myself I set 10 kilowatts as the best compromise between power and range. First I installed the controller in a regular place. Then I realized that my XL kit gives enough space to install it behind the battery, where it is protected from impacts. While riding enduro, I hit the controller on the tree a couple of times. Also water and dirt from the front wheel constantly flies to the controller in front. I measured the dimensions and realized that if you cut off the standard shock absorber mount that is not needed with XL kit, then the controller will definitely fit between the battery and the new shock mount. After going through the hell of a novice electrician with rewiring, I managed to complete the transfer of the controller. Let's talk about suspension. I still ride stock D&M suspensions, but they have modifications. The front fork has a spring. The stock spring is too soft for this bike. I found a guy who makes custom air spring for D&M forks. You just remove from left leg of your forks old stuffing and insert the air spring there. You pump up the right pressure and that's it. I've been using it for a year and a half and haven't had any problems. Everything is done very securely. The stock fork is lubricated with grease. I immediately remove the grease and pour 20 grams of oil to both legs. The fork immediately becomes very responsive, but the stock seals gradually leak oil. After replacing the seals, this problem was solved. So now I have a strong fork, the necessary rigidity. Now is no point to spending $1,000 on Fox or Marzocchi. The rear shock is also D&M and is now in its 3rd season. He is alive. I just put the nipple in the piggyback and pump it a little harder than stock. Also changes the oil. Plans to adopt a shock absorber similar in length from a pit bike. The problem is that all pit bike shocks come with very stiff springs. I think that I can make a custom spring and everything will work fine. And that's my plans for future. I run stock brakes. The front is a bit lacking, but I can block the back wheel with one finger. That's why I'm running stock for now. I just pumped them well and bought metal pads instead of organic. At the beginning I rode on 19-inch stock wheels. The back wheel quickly lost its round shape. So I switched to 2.15 inches wide, 19 inches diameter motorcycle rim. I think a 1.85 inches wide rim is good enough for Surron, but I couldn't find one in stock here. So I drove throughout the season and recently decided to change front wheel. Now front is 21-inch diameter and 1.60 inches wide. The Surron is not full-size bike, so we have a power and range issue. The weight of the wheels has an even greater impact on the dynamic than the weight of the bike. Race engineers claim that to accelerate 1 extra kilo on the wheel plays the same role as 4 kilograms on the chassis. So I choose tires very carefully. In summer I use Mitas E09 21 inches diameter, 2.75 inches wide with weight only 2.7 kilos. I put a 26 inches MTB camera in it. The result is the same weight as a 19 inches wheel with the Michelin Star Cross 70 to 100 with moto tube. On the rear wheel in the summer is a Kenda K270 with a width of 3 inches. It weighs only 3 kg. November, all winter and March I drive on heavier tires. This is necessary for traction in snow and mud. On the front wheel there is temporarily a Chinese tire 21 inches 80 to 100 on which I cut sipes for better grip. In the future I will buy something lighter. On the back is the Russian Petroshina 18 inches diameter 3.25 inches wide tire. I have no find anything lighter. Its weight is only 3.6 kilograms. I also like that this tire is narrow enough to assemble the wheel without dishing to the left, just like the summer Kenda. Petroshina is also cut by hand for a better grip in winter. Handlebar is first thing I changed on stock Surron. First it was Answer Pro Taper mountain bike handlebar with 18mm of lift. When I wanted more lift, I bought a Neken motorcycle handlebar. Shiva Racing built a 100mm stem for it. This gave me a height I needed for use 19 inches front wheel. When I switched to 21 inches, I changed the stem to 80mm to keep the handlebar at the correct height. This stem has become popular and you can also buy one at Surron shop. I will leave the link in the video description. After people began to ask for similar stem for 31.8mm mountain bike handlebars, we also made such an option. Now you can buy 65mm, 80mm, 100mm stems for motor or for mountain bike handlebars. When I competed in enduro competition, I had to replace the stock headlight with a brighter one. I bought an inexpensive Chinese headlight for $20 and got a very bright light. This is great for forest. It shines in all directions. But this is bad if you drive in the city. This headlight blinds people who are driving towards you. The headlight is controller from this remote control. There is constant mode for driving in the dark. There is also a mode where you can blink a pedestrian who is walking towards you and looking at his phone. My Surron went through 1000 changes. Stock rear fender I broke on the first trip. That's why I bought fenders for the Honda CRF 110 on the front wheel and no name fender on rear. When I made the XL kit, the seat moved back 5 centimeters. I decided to remake the stock seat and added those 5 centimeters to the front. Then I attached number plates. They are taken from some kind of pit bike and heavily modified to fit Surron. At the same time, I started riding a full-size bike. Compared to him, Surron had nothing between the legs that you can wrap your legs around in turns. First I tried to make a simulated tank. I bought a tank from a pit bike, rebuilt it and installed it on Surron. It got awkward and heavy. Then I bought a side plastic from a Kayo KRZ 125 pit bike. It has a window through which the cable for charging the battery fits perfectly. With the help of an aluminum profile, I installed this plastic on the bike. Turns now it's much more comfortable. To lengthen the rear fender, I took an aluminum profile and lengthened the stock subframe. Now the fender is fastened with zip ties to the profile and screws to the number plates. I decided to leave the front fender. Its back is still not needed. Here I have a rubber mudguard. From the corners I assembled a mount for the fender. Visually, the fender continues the line of the rear fender and the seat. The seat has also been redesigned recently. I replaced the seat on my dirt bike. Then I attached the old one to the Surron and realized that if the front part is cut off from it, then it will be well in place. I bought leather for upholstery of the seat. It was for different type of seat, so it was not possible to stretch the skin to place the squares were on the back. I had to pull it back to front. I'm not very satisfied with the straight itself. There are a lot of faults. This was my first experience with the seat. Then I plan to buy a more suitable skin and I will make it look nicer. But if you do not look at the appearance, I really like this seat. What conclusion can I draw after 3 years of riding Surron and constant modifications? This was a very good buy for $3,500. Although I don't think the current price $4,500 to $5,000 is good. It's already too much for a stock bike. Bike is reliable. He never stopped because of breakdown. Little things broke from falls and blows, but it's normal. For short people, for teenagers, for those who want to become a motocross rider after a mountain bike, this is great toy. But if you want more from it, then it will require investment. If you are tall, XL kit is the best investment. Just look at the tall rider on the red stock and silver Surron with XL kit. I don't see the point in investing a lot of money on a bike if it's just too small for you, and it will cost about $1,000. Then you will want to ride longer and not constantly look at the battery remaining display like a drug addict on the last dose. And the battery will pull roughly $2,000 out of your wallet. The following are optional items. But if you want a super bike, then you need to prepare more money. Controller about $1,000. And this is also a noticeable improvement. Even when you put in 8 kilowatts instead of 5.5 in stock, riding becomes much more fun. Personally, I stopped here spending another 500 on wheels, and I built them myself. If you order fancy wheels, have about 800 bucks ready. If you decide to replace the suspension, hopefully you can stay within the budget of $1,000 for fork and $500 for shock. If you still have kidney to sell, you can buy brakes for about $400. I think you can safely throw $600 on all sorts of little things for this: handlebar, stem, pegs, grips, fenders, seat, tires. Although if you are going to buy Surron for all these modifications, then maybe it's better to wait for new Surron Ultra B enter the market. I think it will cost $7,000 to $9,000. It is not know exactly how long it will take. After all, I tested one of the first Surron Storm back in 2019, and neither in 2020 or in 2021 could you just buy it without a long wait. And then in 2019, having discharged the Surron Storm battery from 97% to 23% in 40 minutes, I thought about a guy's bike, but more on that in the next video. Thanks for watching, push like button if you like it, and I will be glad to chat with you in the comments, friends. Have a good ride.